Joe Pyfer's story is one of the sport's most inspiring stories. From hitting rock bottom on the brink of suicide to climbing back up the ranks.
Yeah, it was
He mentioned he almost killed himself.
How can you just create your own freaking standings? You guys.
I don't like what he tweeted. I want to punish him, so we're going to keep him low. They kind of manipulate the rankings,
how
and it can be very personal.
Should Izzy be retiring? Huge guys, not nobody rinky dinkies. He's coming up and he's young. He's a tough fight for Izzy. We kind of should have seen this coming. It's easier to say in hindsight.
Sure.
But we should have seen this coming because he's a hungry fighter and he has nothing to lose going against Izzy. Izzy has the whole world to lose. It ended in the second round. The first round clearly was Izzy's round. Izzy had this fight going in. He had total control. His stance was there. There was a few strikes that got in the first round. I think it was on his leg kicks.
Yeah, people get old though, right?
But that was the sign. I saw that first round. He was holding down Joe. I was like, this is it. We're seeing it. Izzy's going to win this fight. That's where it got scary. And that's where I was like, I didn't know where the second round was going. I had a feeling just going into that second round. I was like, oh man, this is going to be bad. And just get a fluke kick or a fluke punt. Fluke. Don't say fluke because these guys are trained to do what they want. They're just not, let's say, an unexpected quick turn of events, which next thing you know, you're watching your guy who wins your first round. He's on the mat, face down, with his legs flailing in the air. Yeah. That hurt my heart to see. He full on. And he after the fight, which, you know what, I'm not going to take any credit away. He fully deserved that win. He beat Izzy fair and square. He took him down. He goes on to the fight. He goes on Ariel's show, Ariel Helwani, and he said that
this is Joe.
Yeah, this is Joe, and he said that he was close to
committing suicide.
Yeah. And
so what's the story about that? He was this is before fighting, or like he was a fighter at this time?
So no, he
ago.
Yeah,
So it's pretty recent.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
He's about to take his own life.
But why did it come out now after the fight? Why did this come out now as a sudden? Why not before the fight? I guess
you get emotional. You start venting out. I don't know.
Or it comes out that Joe Pyfer, after the win with Izzy that night, went out and cheated on his girlfriend of 6 years. So was it convenient that the day later he kind of made it a very emotional thing and tried to mask it? Was he forced to apologize publicly? And I'm sorry, I was at a low moment. This stuff happens. I was at my lowest.
In Vegas. No, I was in Seattle.
And all the while he's and this happens after the fight. So I thought it was worth bringing up.
Yeah.
And not.
He say that night?
He cheated on his girlfriend.
Well, he said it. He went on the Ariel Helwani show. I don't know if we can.
Didn't he say it that night after the fight? I think
right
he
after
mentioned
the fight.
Like he
was.
He mentioned he almost killed himself. Yeah. He was going to kill himself.
It was right after. Yeah. Now, where do we go from there? I don't know. Joe right now he's working up the ranks. Who's going to be left for him? I'd be curious to see where he goes from this.
Who do you think is his next opponent?
Yeah, why not?
Let's pull up the. Do we have the division? Love to see
what weight class is this?
I don't know if they changed the ranking system.
Who are big middleweights?
And we talked about this not too long ago. How Pereira started with the middleweight. He beats Izzy. He goes on to the lightweight. Beats the lightweight division, gives up his belt, and now he's heading up to the heavyweight.
Wow, that's crazy.
Pereira killed everyone in this division, including his.
That'd be cool, if he wins it.
So these are the top middleweight?
No. The middleweights would be your.
Is it French?
It would be your Islam Makhachev.
Right now you got
Chimaev, yeah.
Duplessis, Sean Strickland. He's in that class.
Sean and Strickland and Chimaev are fighting soon. DDP
against each other.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting soon. DDP, who's in second, he took out Israel. He was one of his last 4. So Israel had 4 losses in a row. That was one of his last losses. I want to also just a quick note in Izzy's 4 losses. We have to notice that 2 of those losses were against champions. So you got 2 champions, a #1 top prospect, and now Joe Pyfer. None of those 4 fights, if we would have watched them and talked about them individually, would we be sitting here saying, should Izzy be retiring?
Exactly.
So that's why I'm going to later get into this, that this might not just be the end for him. So it's...
No, we can't just... He still has a...
I'm not going to look... We'll talk about it later. Yeah. So right now, I don't know if... So Israel's... He's at 9. He's in 9th place. And Joe's in 8th. Is that recent or is that going to change? So in front of him, I'm going to say he's going to have to fight. Yeah, Brendan Allen. Give him Kaio. Kaio's been having
How
some
does
problems.
it work? Like your next fight ranking, it's the guy above you or 2 guys above you or 2
not
guys
really.
below you?
It's some guy in a drawing board at UFC. All those guys, Hunter, and they're all sitting in a room. And
They just decide who.
every day when you have the number 1 contender that's been waiting there for so long.
Pat, because they're so monopolized, they do their own ranking system, but it's so ridiculous because nobody can compete with them, but it so downgrades the authenticity of your rankings.
Yeah, yes.
Like, look at boxing; it's ranked properly, and it's across the board, no matter where you fight, whichever division, whichever
That's because
federation.
you have outside people that come in and fairly overlook the health of the fighters. They
Objectively,
yes, they all get together, and in all fairness, they can judge on what a fighter's salary should be, the health of a fighter, what his weight cuts. His face ate the ground.
Of course.
That day of the weigh-in, he fell unconscious.
He fainted.
These guys are pushing themselves to the second. I could just imagine when they're walking up that step and going to the scale, they're literally like, get me off the scale. I need to drink. I need to eat. I need to drink. I need to drink. I need to drink. Because I've been in the sauna. I've been in a hot blanket. I've been doing this for the past 4 hours. I'm dehydrated. I'm going to... Next thing you know, you're just eating the ground. You have no chance. And so it's super dangerous to the fighters. And at the same time...
After weigh-in, you can scuff as much as you want, right?
This is where I'm going with it, Tony. So you could scuff all you want, and then you got this Alex Pereira who shows up on the scale, looks like a skeleton, but the guy is walking around at 245. So he's like, when I get off the scale, do you know how fast I'm going to grow 47 pounds in the next 2 days? Because
straight to the hotel buffet.
happens on Thursday, not on the Saturday morning. It's happening 2-3 days before the fight. So these guys, after the weight, they're like... So that's another rule that I think the UFC should do, is that if you're going to do a weight cut, it should be for the fight. Or then why have a weight cut at all? What's the whole point of cutting weight? And then some guys can only gain 17 pounds or 4 pounds, while some guys are just monsters naturally. So all they do is just cut the water, make sure that their mass stays there, and then it's all calculated.
Right.
This is all calculated.
Yeah.
And then boom, they're jacked up, and you got this guy that's like, it's crazy how you've seen, and I'll talk about guys like Chimaev, Alex Pereira, especially these two. If you see them weight cut versus on the mat, fight night, it's incredible. They must have the biggest fluctuations. I'm surprised that doctors don't come in and be like, guys, this is very unhealthy what you're doing. Extremely unhealthy.
I saw once a girl got completely naked. They put towels around her.
Yeah,
She got completely naked because she didn't want the weight of her outfit.
that happens all too often. Guys do that
Happens
too.
often, that? Okay.
DC was caught doing that, and he was naked. He had to take off his boxers, and you saw his hands on the towel. It's a famous. He says, Daniel Cormier says that he wasn't cheating that day, but there was this day that he was. So what they do is they put up a towel in front of you, and what you do is you try to you pull a little on the towel, but I mean it's just grams, ounces you're looking for sometimes, because these guys are literally 146.1, and you're like,
Once I
145.
saw, oh wait, that's a different conversation.
The towel came off.
Can you pull up, let's say, like Chimaev, let's say, cut and ring?
Or Patty Pimblett, another good, or do Chimaev, Patty. I thought of Patty because I remember one day I was like, one fight, I was like, that guy is so fat. he was fat. And you're like, man, he was skinny at weight cut. And he says it, Patty. He's like, before, after the fight, I'll eat a pizza. I'll eat. So look at that.
Yeah.
Chimaev, look at his stomach. Come back to Israel. I don't know if we kind of really sidetracked there. But Izzy. Is he finished? He fought champions, top prospect, and now Joe Pyfer.
We're going on the next topic?
No, we're still on Izzy. Yeah, I just want to finish up on just to say that in the sense that Izzy, I mean, Pyfer, what do you want to say? We don't know more information. He cheated on his girlfriend. He came out. He publicly said it. Usually when people do that, there's a little behind the scenes thing that happened. Maybe a little hot picante, caliente happened at the home, and wooden spoons got thrown, and I don't know.
And
So But it was just a little fishy of how he used it as a
Excuse?
yeah.
So this wasn't known before the fight.
No.
Because I found it weird he mentioned it
Only
after the fight. I'm like, okay, this must be something that people know.
Right.
But no, he really dropped it then.
I thought it was like, oh, do you want us to you want us to feel bad because you were at your lowest point, probably because of depression, and this fight saved you, and now you got money. I was looking at it like that initially, and then when I found out about the cheating, I was like, hold on, you said that after the fight. We also found out about the cheating after the fight, which was the night of the fight. Did you use that as an excuse to, I don't know, to downplay it or?
Sure. Before we go on to the next topic, I just want to say something. So I was thinking about, you were saying about the UFC, they're ones who pick the fights and stuff like that. And I find like there could be some like manipulations on themselves. Like I'm looking at the list over here, they can look at this guy. This guy probably wants a lot more money, so we're not going to give him a title yet. Or stuff like, I don't like what he tweeted the other day, so I want to punish him, so we're going to keep him low.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like they kind of manipulate the rankings, and it could be very personal. It's not objective. It's not objectively done, right?
Yeah.
How can you just create your own freaking standings? It's got to be.
Also, in there, you don't know what the fight contract stipulate for each of those names. There should be a number of how many fights left for each one of them. That number is important because if a guy has 2 fights left versus a guy who has 7 fights left, they're not easily giving that guy with 2 fights left his fights to like, we're gonna fit you in somewhere.
That's when these guys they go on the
it's
attack and try to create drama in their lives.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
like it's promo. It's all promo. It's freaking
right. You take
WWE.
the NHL standings, right? And we look at it tonight, and we're like, Boston's right behind Montreal. You know what, boys? This is exactly it.
Yeah,
you're basically playing with your standings. You're like, what's going to be good next week? Buffalo, Tampa. Let's do that rematch again. Let's just really figure this out, this division, and figure. This is what the UFC is. These rankings, just because, I don't know, Anthony Hernandez, just because he's 5th, doesn't mean he has to fight 4th or 3rd. He can fight 1 because Anthony probably had some crazy 3-fight streak.
Boxing too. 5 can fight 1, but the standings, but the rankings are a little bit more freaking logical.
But boxing's rankings are based on different factors than what the UFC ranks.
Yeah, I think it's more personal.
Yeah.
I think
You know what I mean? It's
they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, it's like a Vince McMahon moment where okay, you're on.
I don't know, the pole fight and just
fighting.
Have the fans choose, because I think they're smart. Not everybody's in it. It's like hockey. You always have the smart fans that are going to come out and be like, these guys should fight together. Which I'm sure
people like in the press or something like that, like kind of like a vote system.
Like, hey, why isn't this rematch happening at the White House? And he's just like, okay, we got this. When at the end you're like, nothing. They just want to have the control over everything.
Yeah, because if it was like I would say up to viewers, they'd pick like John Jones for sure. They'd pick,
the favorites all the time.
Classics, for sure.
It would be too easy.
It would be hard for like a nobody to rank to go up the ranks, I guess.
And at the same time, you have to have someone that's building these names. You can't just take someone who's super young, like Sean O'Malley, for example. Sean O'Malley came up in the UFC. He was this, hot, flashy, pink-wearing, rainbow-colored hair, Lamborghini driving. He's going to get that, and he still didn't get it. And you're like, okay, the next fight, he still didn't get it. And you're like, what the f? And then you're like, oh, now comes the championship fight. But now you're like, now he's champion. Now you're happy. You see, this is what we built it for. We made money off of all these fights because you were hoping. And you're like, well, he's got to do something. He's thankful for the UFC, if anything. So, yeah, I mean, but that's pretty much my take on Joe Pai.
You like him? He's a good fighter?